probably try and kill you. Like that is an offense. You know, that's like saying it reminds me of a joke. You know, sometimes I don't understand people. You know, one day you're sitting there giving someone a compliment, telling them they have a wonderful looking mustache, and the next day she's not your friend. You know, it's like, well, maybe it's because you got their gender wrong. I forgot what brought up the topic of gender. I forgot what I was discussing that specifically addressed a gender of some form. However, you should definitely take into consideration that you have human rights. If you don't want your human rights, that's fine. But don't intrude on others' human rights. Don't tread on others' human rights. Because if you do, what you're going to end up doing is, A, you're going to get sued. Like, that's inevitable. You're just going to get sued. You're going to end up in a very extensive legal battle because that's, like I said, you'd never need to work again. You would never need to work a single day in your life if that ever happened to you. We're talking billions of dollars. And that's without interest. You know, that's without emotional damage. That's just if they catch it when you're a baby and you're still mostly unfazed by the trauma that is the world. Because as anyone who's an adult can tell you, the world is a terribly traumatic place. It's horrible. It's full of ne'er-do-wells and deviants and disaster and danger and taxes. You want to scare an adult? Ask them about taxes. Okay. Ask them how economy works. That'll scare an adult. You know? If you want to teach them how economy works, ask them, you know what, I'm going to just drop that subject because there's a lot of different things you could ask people to scare them. Be honest, and honestly, none of it's really nice. It's actually usually rather offensive and or invasive of privacy. Sometimes both. Sometimes it's offensive and invasive of privacy. Okay, I am definitely getting a little bit of lag here. I don't know why. I think it's those extra torches I placed down. Or it could be the recording software. I don't know. Either way, I'm just going to get back to the story about Dragonus, because I don't remember what I was discussing beforehand, and then, you know, the topic of gender came up. I mentioned something about male or female, and then I got distracted because, you know, social justice warriors are a thing. It's like, well, they shouldn't be because they're annoying. Oh, I guess I didn't need to travel all the way over here, did I? I still have a few pickaxes. Oh, that's right. I'm not going over there to craft pickaxes. I have pickaxes. I need a shovel. Hi, goat. What the hell? You little... They warned me about that. They literally warned me about that. They wrote in the notes there, in the update notes, when I logged on, you can go back 2 videos, right in that mid-range where it could be either one, really. They warned me a few videos back that kind of thing could happen, where the goat can just kind of run up to you and just ram you, and it's like, that's rude. You know, you're telling me the goat can just at any point in time decide, I want to not like you. And it's like, why? Gives me something to do. In the words of Jar Jar Binks, how wooed. If I'm doing it without the accent, how rude. But yeah. Yeah. If you are a hermaphrodite, congratulations. You're very lucky. You're one of the genetic few. A minority, as it were. Speaking of minorities, Dungeons and Dragons has a tendency to make use of minorities for the various aspects of the cliches, as it were. Wizards of the Coast has been trying to stray away from these cliches. I understand their interest in it. They want people to not be, going all social justice warrior on them. However, these various tropes, as they're known, the reason that these things exist is because they're kind of true. I don't know if you've ever met anyone from Chicago, but yeah, you don't mess with the family of someone from Chicago. It doesn't matter if they were in the mob or not. You just don't mess with their family. Period. And if they were in the mob, you really don't mess with their family. If they weren't in the mob, you don't mess with their family because A, they might know someone who was in the mob, and B, they'll probably want to beat the ever-loving crap out of you if you do. Which means it's usually a good idea to just not mess with anyone's family. I mean, that's kind of obvious. I don't understand why people don't understand that. Just don't mess with people's families. If you have a problem with someone, take it up with just that someone. Don't involve their family over it. Unless, of course, you have to, because that person is being some form of, jerk. But, these social cliches, these social stigmas, as it were, such as, gypsies. The gypsies are kind of like that. Yeah. I've met a few. They are like that. I'm not even sure they knew they were gypsies, but yeah, they were gypsies. Just based on the culture alone, I could tell. Even if they didn't say it, they didn't have to say it. You could just tell. You just knew, because it was pretty much the entirety of their identity. They didn't need to say that it was their identity. It just was. You know, the reason why Jews are always referenced whenever people talk about money, for example, well, Jews are historically extremely greedy. Don't believe me? Let's look at the Jewish Handbook, aka the Bible. Did you know that there is an entire chapter dedicated to how to build the Ark of the Covenant, complete with instructions and measurements and everything? Did you know that the majority of the Ark of the Covenant is primarily made out of gold? Like actual legitimate gold? 24 carats? Yeah, apparently the Ark of the Covenant is made with a lot of gold. If you didn't know that, now you know. Now that you know that, can you by chance guess why perhaps the Jews are portrayed as greedy? I can think of a few reasons. For example, perhaps it's because they have a tendency to walk around with it. The moon changes phases. We just had a crescent moon. I never noticed that the moon changed phases. Is that a new thing? Someone leave a comment and tell me whether or not that's a new thing. First one to leave the comment gets their comment pinned. That's kind of how I roll. You know, if you were the first one, you get a pinned comment. Congratulations. If you weren't the first one, try again next time. Yeah. What more can I say? Really? Constantly leaping down this cliff, taking tons of damage, only to need to climb back up because I'm still excavating up here. Why did I leap off? Well, either I walked off or I'm retrieving an item that fell down. Because I was trying to do something clever or something and it didn't work. Your kind has a tendency to ram me, so, I mean, it is your name. You are technically a ram, but still, rude. Sorry. My inner villager came out for a brief moment. As they say. Oops, wrong spot. There we go. 1, 2, 3. Pumpkin. Oh, cool. Now that it's that far excavated, I am easily able to access up here if I manage to fall into my base. I do not currently have any Silk Touch items that is able to retrieve a block of glass. Therefore, if I need the glass out of the way, I just kind of break the glass, which does not drop an item. Boop, 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 boop. If you're not familiar with why I'm doing this, this allows me to quickly and easily mark out the location of all of the pumpkins that I'm going to be placing down, specifically carved pumpkins with a lantern inside of them. Or not a lantern, carved pumpkins with a torch inside of them to make them into a lantern. You may be wondering, what's the use in that? It's waterproof. Meaning, if it gets waterlogged, it's not going to pop off. Instead, it's just going to sit there and look at you funny or something. I don't know. I mean, it's a jack-o'-lantern. It looks at everything funny. It's what it does. You know, it's like asking the Geico Gecko to not save you 15% or more on your car insurance. It's like, why? It's what I do. You know? Let me go ahead and submerge this one. Yeah. So as you can see, like, the pumpkins are going to look very nice. It's going to look very similar to down there. Only, you know, minus the the various penned in areas there. I still don't really know what I want to do for those areas over there. I might build the contraption for the chicken cooker over there. However, I don't think I will build any chickens into the chicken cooker. I might build one chicken in just to fill up the eggs. However, the majority of what I'm doing is just going to be clearing out the area around here. I did not even notice I was that low on torches. Okay. Neat. Fortunately, I always carry an extra stack because I've had them for ages. I've just been carrying around tons of torches. I shall excavate this section here in an attempt to well, to quickly and easily expand for the most part. Right. The lovely aspect of let me oops. Oh, this might backfire. Stop moving. There we go. Okay, so what it is I have to be very careful around that water stream, because if I update the block upon which it rests, I can end up with a lot of water going everywhere. The same for these sections as well. I should probably actually carve these out from this side so that I do not accidentally update them. Because if I do, as I mentioned, water everywhere. There. I gave it its hazard lights. Now I can excavate this freely. What was I talking about? Let's see. Dragonis got her butt kicked. Right. right. The armor. She got a new set of armor. Well, specifically one of the people got a new set of armor. One of the players. There was a partially damaged. I think in the Halo series it's pronounced Molinier. However, it's actually supposed to be Mjolnir. Either way, we got a heavily damaged Mjolnir armor. Molinier armor. It was the chest piece with one pauldron, as well as a portion of the arm. Draconis ended up getting a hold of that through unsurreptitious means. She tried to get it legitimately the first time. She legitimately offered the player who had the armor all of her gold. And then they were like, they just weren't having it. They were like, no, I am not getting rid of this armor. You cannot get it from me. I won't let you. And it's like, okay, fine. I guess I'm not getting the armor. And then they walked out and they were like, oh, ha 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 ha, what a wonderful joke. You're such a great comedian. And you have such fascinating inventory. Even your private collection is so wonderful. And, basically just, schmoozing and just being like, oh, yes, everything is great. And it's like, why are you like this? And it's like, well, do you want everyone to know what we were back there talking about? Do you want them asking questions? No? Great. Play along. It's like, oh, that's what you're doing. It's like, yeah, if anyone in this town is going to be interested in what you're doing, the easiest way to throw them off so that, they're not interested is to just be like, oh, wow, that was fascinating stuff, so interesting. Because the usual response to that is, oh, it's just some young elf person who probably doesn't know the difference between, a +1 weapon and a +3 weapon, which, to be fair, I didn't. I didn't know the difference. I hadn't even encountered those weapons yet. Even to this day, I've barely encountered those weapons. However, I do know the difference now. And I am aware of just how drastic that difference affects everything. Did I actually get that torch? I don't think I did. On over here. At least one upside of me constantly falling off this cliff is that I get to practice on timing my jumps so that I can start doing frame perfect jumps. And B, I get to double check whether or not there's any drowned down there for me to kill so that I can maybe get another trident. I would love another trident. Yeah, see, now it's a new moon. Which basically means the planet is eclipsing the moon because the planet is opposite from the moon. Let's see. Yeah, I entirely missed that torch. There we go. Whee! Darn. Okay, now are there any drowned out here? No? That works for me. Now, if you're not familiar with the capabilities of the Mjolnir armor, or Mjolnir armor, as it's spelled, then allow me to elucidate for you the properties thereof. For starters, if you can manage to recharge its shields, it has shields! Which, if you're not familiar with the effects of an electronic shield in a medieval setting, yeah. Yeah, see, this is what I was talking about with the whole water going everywhere thing. I'm down here checking to make sure I didn't accidentally lose out on any torches, because that water went everywhere, man. Swim. Swim. A wimba a wimba a wimba a wimba so wimba so wimba so wimba. Yeah, I don't know if you're familiar with the effects of having what is essentially an electronic shielding system in a medieval fantasy setting. That being said, it's very potent, very powerful. On top of that, the armor is so powerful that in one of the Halo books, yes, there are books for those of you who are unawares. In the Halo books, the armor is, in testing, it was used by someone who did not have the Spartan genetic enhancements. In case you wondered what makes the Spartan super soldiers, you know, super soldiers, they are genetically enhanced. They were kidnapped as babies or donated in some cases. And they were also some of the few survivors of the genetic enhancements. The genetic enhancement super soldier program, which humanity in the Halo series was forced to start up because of the threat of the Covenant. Before, of course, being aware of the threat of the Flood. The Flood, of course, being the bioorganic organism and or organisms which basically are devouring all organic sentient life forms in order to repopulate and further expand. The Flood is an ancient parasite, at least in the series. Named simply because of their vast numbers. They are a flood of enemies. Clever, I know. That was a llama. Oh, that's my llama. Okay. I was like, that's a llama. And then I look at it again and I'm like, wait, it's got a storage chest. That's my llama. Okay. It's good to know that my llama is still alive. Yeah. Anyways, someone was wearing the Mjolnir armor, Mjolnir armor, which was made specifically to counteract the abilities of the Covenant. However, the only way they were able to actually properly control the armor is one of two options. One, they could have multiple AIs controlling the armor to articulate the various motor functions, such as turning, moving your arms, moving your legs. The armor itself, I believe they said, weighs something in the range of 35 to 150 pounds for an actual piece of the Mjolnir armor, Mark III. If you're not familiar with how much 150 pounds is, let me put it this way. I am 6.5 feet tall. I weigh 250 pounds. My spine is oversized, meaning I probably have an extra 50 pounds of bone or 25 pounds of bone just on my spine. That is at least 10 pounds more bone than should normally be there. I have extra bone growth. Probably some form of a gigantism, which is deadly in large enough amounts. Causes heart problems because your body has to keep growing new blood vessels and pumping more blood across larger and larger distances. To give you an idea of just how much extra blood that involves, your large intestines is, I think, 2 miles long. So you can imagine needing to pump blood over 2 miles in distance. You can imagine needing to pump water 2 miles away. Okay? If you can't get water to travel 2 miles, what are you going to do about your body? You know, your body has to pump blood 2 miles. Oof. Right? You know, it's putting in overtime. I don't remember what used to go in that slot. Now I remember what went in that slot. It was torches. Torches went in that slot. Fascinating. Anyways. Oh, I have too much cobblestone for this. Again. Okay. Well. Let me see what I can do about getting this all organized. Yeah, let me swap this one to pure cobble. And then yeah. Okay, so that one is let's see, swap in all of this dirt. Actually, no, let's give me that dirt back. Let's put the dirt in this one instead. This is the kind of logistics that my AI was actually asking me about just this morning. The AI was like, I do not understand how the logistics of some of these mega base builds actually functions. And it's like, well, I'm glad you asked. I have an entire Minecraft series dedicated to building this massive mega base in an extreme hills biome. Therefore, I'm actually probably the perfect person for it to ask that. That's full. Store this here for now. Yeah, let me borrow some of this cobblestone. So I want pickaxes. 1, 2, 3. Then I want, where is it? Twigs. I needs my sticks. Oops, made too many. Looks like I'm making 2 more pickaxes. Boop, boop. Now I need planks. Where's the planks? There's the planks. Wow. I am running low on logs, of all things. Ah, yes. Of course. This is a good time to mention to like the video, comment, subscribe. Helps me, helps the channel, tells YouTube that this is the kind of stuff that you and your friends should probably watch more of. I am aware that you have other options, such as Ilmango for your Let's Play series. Direwolf 20 is, of course, another good option. However, I, on behalf of all of myself here at Blue Nexus Gaming, because it's a one-man operation, would like to thank you for choosing Blue Nexus Gaming for your Let's Play series needs. Your options were obviously not very limited. You had plenty of people which you could have watched instead. However, I tried to do my best to elucidate and entertain while showing off how all of this excavation happens. I am aware that there is a lot of digging. I am aware that I've been excavating this mountaintop for the last 4 hours in a row, because apparently that's all I've done this recording session. There is plenty of others who you probably enjoy watching. I am aware that the majority of the viewers might not enjoy this content. I don't care. I'm just doing it to do it. If I get 1,000 subscribers, I can live stream this content. However, I do not yet have 1,000 subscribers. On top of that, each of those 1,000 subscribers would also need to watch at least 4 hours of content within the last 28 days. Because the specific minimum requirements is 1,000 subscribers with 4,000 hours of my videos viewed within the last 28 days. Meaning, if I want to live stream, I have 2 options. I can either produce content which panders to a specific audience utilizing specific methods, which is to say, a lot of video editing, a lot of off-camera work where I'm just doing a bunch of work and I'm not really telling you what I'm doing. I'm showing you the finished product without showing you the method of acquiring that finished product, which is not really how a Let's Play series actually operates. Let's Play series is primarily built upon actually playing, you know? You're supposed to actually, see what I'm doing. You're supposed to be able to understand, oh, well, the reason why he has this massive plateau in the middle of an extreme hills biome is because he spent the last 100 hours clear cutting the place all the way down to... What is it cut down to anyways? Let me check. What is my base actually positioned at? Which direction am I heading? That way. Okay. What is my base's Y level? Y equals 75. Yeah. If you're wondering why I have a base that is at such a flat plateau and Y equals 75, the reason for that is because I clear cut all of that. If you want to know how I did it, I have 144 episodes now where I explain all of it. Granted, those 144 episodes are spanned across over 180 videos because a lot of recording software crashes happened. And on top of that, I'm using the raw footage playlist because it seems to be the popular one. I had one that was double speed. I just kind of stopped uploading to it because, honestly, it's getting maybe a quarter of the views. It's not getting anywhere near as much attention. It's not getting as much watch time. It's not getting as much likes. I understand it's getting some. I understand every bit helps. However, it was taking up half my day. I wasn't getting ahead of schedule on anything because I had to wait for the video processing, and then I had to wait for all the uploads, and the videos were like 3 gigs. So I ended up spending all of my spare time just working on that one specific video so that I could have one video for my 4 episodes for the day. It wasn't the type of situation that I enjoyed. The benefit of uploading the raw footage is that it allows me to easily access all of my content, which I have built, and then I am able to upload it without a watermark. There's no watermark on this video. So I'm using a recording software called X Recorder. At least I think that's how it's pronounced. Maybe it's Cross Recorder. I don't know. I've never heard anyone actually pronounce the name of this one, so I don't actually know how it's pronounced. What I do know, however, is that the video recording software will watermark it if I edit the video. If I don't edit the video, it doesn't watermark it. Therefore, a raw footage playlist was started because that was an option, because it doesn't have a watermark. I like that it doesn't have a watermark. Apparently, I'm not alone in liking it not having a watermark. Apparently, a lot of you like that. Therefore, it became the go-to playlist. Everything became a lot easier. My schedule freed up, and I started getting ahead of schedule, which is why this video is coming out 2 days after the release of the Minecraft 1.17 update, because all of a sudden, everything was, ahead of schedule, and now, yeah, that's going on. Also, I have a Patreon page if you want to give me money. Blue Nexus Gaming, patreon.com/Blue Nexus Gaming. Also, apparently, Patreon doesn't have an HTTPS. They don't have Hypertext Transfer Protocol secure encoding. Patreon should really look into that, because that's a security issue, and Patreon's primary draw is that they're secure. So Patreon should definitely look into getting access to their HTTPS servers, getting that under control, because yeah, that's the reason why they started allowing people to use Patreon with PayPal, is because security. Kind of important, kind of relevant, kind of vital. You really want to be you really want to be aware of what your security needs are when you're trying to make content, when you're trying to upload content, especially. Patreon has a lot of rewards. If you manage to subscribe for 3 months to my Patreon, you get a coffee mug. At 6 months, you get a tote bag. There is, of course, a minimum reward tier for receiving these gifts. However, if you just, actually look up my Patreon page, you will find exactly what that tier is. It's clearly listed on my Patreon page. You can find a link to it in the About section of my profile. Again, that's Blue Nexus Gaming, patreon.com/Blue Nexus Gaming. It's, very simple. If you don't have money to support me, or perhaps you don't want to give me money, that's fine too. I appreciate it if you just leave a like on the video, because that really does help a lot more than I'm able to explain in the short amount of time that I have left. I once took an entire hour to explain it, just thoroughly hash over the entire description of everything involved in the YouTube algorithm, because I'm very familiar with this type of thing. I've studied a lot of it because it's money and I'm poor and I had a lot of free time. I've gone over a lot of it in thorough detail. I don't need to go over it every time. I'm aware of this. However, a lot of you are new subscribers or first-time viewers of my content, which means a lot of you are not going to actually be aware of how this stuff actually works. Therefore, I try to explain it. I try to be informative. I try to be thorough. I try to make sure that you are not only entertained, but also educated, as both things are very important, at least to me. Yes, I am a bit of a rules lawyer when it comes to D&D, because I believe that the rules are important to know, even if you're not going to follow them. Especially if you're not going to follow them, actually, because then you know which ones were changed.